Imagine a warship so advanced, its future weapons are already integrated, waiting to unleash power previously thought impossible. The most powerful aircraft carrier ever built isn't just sitting in a harbor, it's cutting through open water right now, armed with systems never before seen on any warship in history. The U.S. Navy has equipped its brand new Ford-class carriers with technology so advanced that it makes every other warship in the world seem like a relic. Today, we're breaking down every single one of these groundbreaking systems, one by one. The Gerald R. Ford-class aircraft carrier is not merely a larger iteration of its predecessors. It is a fundamentally different machine, engineered from the ground up with cutting-edge technology, revolutionary weapons, and an entirely new approach to naval warfare. Every major system on this vessel has been meticulously redesigned. The launch system, the recovery system, the radar, the weaponry, and the power supply. All new, and all significantly more lethal than anything that came before. This evolution is critically important now more than ever. As global tensions escalate and threats to U.S. naval forces grow, exemplified by China's recent launch of its most advanced carrier, the Navy has responded not with temporary fixes, but by constructing the most formidable strike platform in naval history. These carriers are actively deployed, carrying weapons unlike anything the world has witnessed. Before we delve into the specifics of these weapons, share your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these systems do you believe is most crucial for maintaining America's naval dominance? We're eager to hear your perspective. Now, let's explore the first innovation, one that has fundamentally transformed the Navy's approach to launching aircraft. EMALS, the electromagnetic aircraft launch system. For over 50 years, U.S. Navy carriers launched aircraft using steam. A colossal blast of compressed steam propelled a piston, which in turn hurled aircraft down the flight deck and into the air. While effective since World War II, this method was violent, cumbersome, demanded immense quantities of fresh water, and was completely incompatible with certain aircraft types. The Ford-class carriers have replaced this entire system with EMALS, the electromagnetic aircraft launch system. Instead of steam, EMALS employs a potent electromagnetic pulse to smoothly, controllably, and precisely accelerate aircraft down the deck. The energy delivered can be meticulously adjusted for each aircraft type, from a heavy, fully loaded F-A-18 Super Hornet to a lightweight reconnaissance drone. This adaptability is critical because the older steam system was too harsh and abrupt for lighter unmanned aircraft, essentially tearing them apart. EMALS completely resolves this issue, enabling an entirely new class of unmanned aircraft, drones capable of scouting, striking, and supporting manned fighters, to be launched from a U.S. carrier for the first time in history. Performance statistics underscore this advancement. The USS Gerald R. Ford is engineered to generate 160 sorties per day under normal operations. During a full combat surge, involving continuous 24-hour flight operations, this figure escalates to an unprecedented 270 sorties within a single 24-hour period. No other carrier globally has ever approached such a number. EMALS alone renders the Ford class revolutionary, but what happens when all those aircraft need to return to the ship? That's where the second, equally vital, weapon system comes into play. AAG, the Advanced Arresting Gear. Landing a fully armed fighter jet on a moving carrier deck is among the most perilous maneuvers a pilot can undertake. The aircraft approaches rapidly, impacts forcefully, and a wire snags its tailhook, bringing the plane to a halt in just 60 to 90 meters. The system controlling this wire has been hydraulic since World War II. While functional, it applied a uniform stopping force to all aircraft, regardless of weight, heavy jets and light aircraft alike. There was no mechanism to adjust for the incoming airframe. The Ford class revolutionizes this with the Advanced Arresting Gear, AAG. Instead of hydraulic pressure, AAG utilizes water turbines that automatically calibrate the stopping force for each specific aircraft. If a heavy fighter, laden with fuel and weapons, comes in, the system increases resistance. Conversely, if a lightweight unmanned aircraft returns from a mission, the system appropriately reduces the force. Every single landing is managed with the precise amount of force, no more, no less. This innovation significantly enhances pilot safety and dramatically diminishes physical stress on the aircraft's landing gear and airframe. Crucially, it allows the carrier to safely recover a much broader spectrum of aircraft, including unmanned systems that the outdated hydraulic equipment would have destroyed upon contact. Looking at the broader strategic context, EMALS and AAG together constitute the world's first fully electromagnetic launch and recovery system. They were conceived not merely for today's aircraft, but specifically for the next generation of unmanned carrier aviation, drones that are currently under development and steadily approaching full deployment. These two systems collectively lay the groundwork for every other advanced capability on this carrier. And the next weapon we'll discuss is already airborne, demonstrating its prowess in real-world scenarios, posing a challenge for which no adversary has a genuine counter. The F-35C, the stealth strike weapon. The F-35C serves as the Navy's stealth carrier-based fighter, though simply calling it a fighter jet diminishes its true capabilities. It is a flying combat system, a sophisticated platform that not only carries weapons but also gathers intelligence, disseminates targeting data across an entire strike group, and coordinates strikes in real time. The F-35C stores its weaponry within sealed internal bays, eliminating external ordnance hanging from the wings. This internal carriage design removes the radar reflection typically caused by external weapons and fuel tanks. Consequently, from an adversary's radar screen, the F-35C exhibits one of the smallest signatures of any aircraft in the sky, rendering it effectively invisible at useful engagement ranges in many combat scenarios. Its unrefueled combat radius extends approximately 2,222 kilometers, the distance it can fly, engage a target, and return without requiring fuel. With air-to-air refueling support, this range expands considerably, placing virtually any target within its operational reach. However, the F-35C's most potent attribute isn't its individual performance, but rather its ability to amplify the effectiveness of the entire strike group. It employs its advanced sensors to pinpoint and identify enemy targets deep within defended airspace, then instantaneously shares this targeting data over a secure network with FDOI-18 Super Hornets flying safely behind it. These Super Hornets can then launch long-range missiles from beyond the reach of enemy defenses. The F-35C never needs to enter the high-risk kill zone. It identifies the target, designates it, and exits, leaving the Hornets to complete the engagement. This form of network warfare, where one aircraft acts as the eyes and another as the fists, represents a tactical advantage for which no adversary has yet developed a full counter, and it is integral to every F-35C operating from a Ford-class carrier. However, the missile carried by those Super Hornets possesses capabilities that are largely unheard of. The Long-Range Anti-Ship Missile, or RASM. Unlike most anti-ship missiles, which typically fly in a straight line, fast and powerful, yet limited to their initial aim point, RASM operates differently. This missile incorporates an artificial intelligence guidance system, allowing it to autonomously navigate around threats encountered along its flight path. It maintains an extremely low altitude, skimming almost at sea level, to evade enemy radar detection. As it approaches its target, LRASM scans the enemy warship, intelligently identifying and selecting the most vulnerable point for impact, rather than simply striking the center of the ship. Its exact range remains classified, but publicly available information confirms it vastly surpasses previous generation anti-ship missiles. Moreover, it was specifically engineered to overcome the world's most advanced naval air defense systems, which are designed precisely to intercept incoming threats like LRASM. In October 2025, LRASM was also integrated onto the P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft, providing an additional launch platform beyond carrier-based fighters. This means the Navy now possesses multiple independent launch options, from carrier-deployed fighters and from distant patrol aircraft, all deploying the same lethal munition. When combined with the F-35C serving as the targeting platform, RASM establishes a kill chain that is exceptionally difficult to disrupt. Often, the target remains unaware it is being tracked until the missile has already penetrated its defenses. This represents a profound tactical advantage, one that accompanies these carriers on every deployment. While striking hard is one crucial aspect, maintaining protection is equally vital. The defensive systems aboard the Ford class are every bit as formidable, introducing the dual-band radar and the defensive shield. Ford-class carriers don't just possess immense offensive power, they also maintain unparalleled situational awareness. Each ship is equipped with a dual-band radar, DBR, system, which ingeniously merges two distinct radar technologies into a single integrated unit. The S-band component manages wide-area search, scanning the sky over vast distances, while the X-band component handles precision tracking once a threat is identified. Together, they can simultaneously detect, track, and target hundreds of aircraft and missiles at ranges unachievable by any older single-system radar. Because both radar bands are consolidated into a single compact array, the island superstructure on the Ford class is notably smaller than that of the Nimitz class. This reduced island size decreases the ship's radar cross-section, making the carrier itself marginally more difficult to detect from long range, a testament to the intentionality behind every design choice on this vessel. The DBR seamlessly feeds into the ship's self-defense system, which aggregates data from every onboard sensor to present a unified tactical picture to the crew. This eliminates guesswork and information gaps, providing a complete, constantly updated view of every threat within the battle space. For threats that manage to penetrate the outer defensive layers, the Ford class is armed with fast-reacting surface-to-air missiles. Beyond these lies the Close-In Weapon System, CYWS, a radar-guided rotary gun capable of firing 4,500 rounds per minute at any missile that breaches the final defensive barrier. This combination creates a layered, redundant, and exceptionally difficult-to-breach defensive wall. But what's coming next is a weapon that requires no ammunition whatsoever, and the Ford class was designed from its inception to accommodate it. This brings us to the power behind future laser weapons. The USS Gerald R. Ford is propelled by twin A1B nuclear reactors, generating over 100 megawatts of electrical power, more than 3 times the output of a Nimitz-class carrier. While older Nimitz vessels produced 4,160 volts of electricity, the Gerald R. Ford generates a staggering 13,800 volts. This substantial increase was a deliberate design choice, as the next generation of naval armaments, specifically directed energy weapons like laser systems, demand immense, sustained electrical power to operate effectively. Traditional carriers simply couldn't support them. The Ford class was engineered with precisely the power output these future systems will require. Senior Navy officials have already confirmed that directed energy weapons are under active development for future deployment on carriers. The Ford class not only possesses the necessary power, but also the physical space, as the removal of outdated steam generation systems liberated significant internal volume. Furthermore, the infrastructure to seamlessly integrate laser weapons into the ship's existing systems has been factored into the design from the outset. Once laser weapons become operational on these carriers, the cost per engagement will plummet to virtually nothing. The magazine will be essentially unlimited as long as the reactors are functioning. Moreover, a laser reaches its target at the speed of light, meaning no incoming missile, regardless of its speed or maneuverability, can outrun it. The Ford class is already prepared for this technology. It won't require retrofitting. The ship is ready. The final, crucial component of this technological leap is unmanned aviation and the expanding fleet. The MQ-25A Stingray represents the Navy's inaugural carrier-based drone, engineered to operate directly from the flight deck. Its primary mission is aerial refueling, significantly extending the operational range of carrier-based fighters during protracted missions. However, as the technology matures, it is also being considered as a future strike platform. Initial flight tests for the Stingray are slated for early 2026, with an initial operational capability targeted for 2027. Upon its integration into the fleet, it will dramatically enhance the combat reach of the F-35C and F-A-18, reduce pilot risk during non-combat operations, and usher in an entirely new era of carrier-based unmanned aviation. EMALS is capable of launching the Stingray. AAG can recover it, and the ship's robust power grid supports its operations. This interconnectedness, where every system on the Ford class seamlessly integrates with every other, is what truly distinguishes this vessel from anything preceding it. It is not merely an assemblage of upgraded components, it is a fully integrated combat platform meticulously designed to evolve with new technology throughout its entire service life. And this formidable fleet is expanding. The USS John F. Kennedy CVN-79 is on schedule for commissioning in 2027, followed by the USS Enterprise CVN-80, with a planned commissioning in 2029. CVN-81, CVN-82, and CVN-83 are also in the pipeline. The Navy's overarching plan envisions a total of 10 Ford-class carriers systematically replacing every Nimitz-class ship on a one-for-one basis. Each of these new vessels will incorporate every weapon system we've discussed today and will be fully prepared for the laser systems and autonomous aircraft of the near future. China's newest carrier, the Fujian, was commissioned in November 2025 in a ceremony attended by President Xi Jinping. This represents an impressive stride forward for that nation's navy. even incorporating an electromagnetic launch system. However, it is not nuclear-powered, meaning it cannot generate the immense electricity required to support future laser weapons. Furthermore, it lacks the decades of invaluable operational experience that U.S. carrier strike groups have meticulously cultivated through countless real-world deployments across the globe. The U.S. Navy is not merely maintaining its lead, it is actively extending it. The most powerful weapons ever integrated onto an aircraft carrier are already deployed, sailing under the American flag. More of these groundbreaking vessels are currently under construction, and the technology being developed today promises to make these ships even more lethal in the years to come. This isn't a distant future plan, it is unfolding right now, solidifying American naval superiority.